I've gone green for Halloween. Hello and welcome to Pink Paradox Reads. I'm Lisa, aka Pink Paradox, and I read books, I watch horror movies, and I unbox things that has to do with books and horror movies. In this video, I'll be talking about books that I've recently read and books that I've currently read. It's Halloween season, so it's all horror. Let's get into it. I'll start off with A Cosmology of Monsters by Sean Hamill, and this is my copy that I got in the Abominable Book Club box in September, but I actually listened to this on audio. This was a buddy read that I did with a bunch of friends from my book club, and this is a surprisingly slim volume. That's actually the family saga of the Turners. The dad, Harry, becomes obsessed with creating the perfect Halloween haunt before his death due to cancer. And the rest of the book is about the Turner family going on and continuing his legacy while they're plagued by monsters of more than one kind. This is a bit of a strange book to recommend. It is horror, but it's maybe a little bit too slow and literary for some horror fans. At the same time, it might be too creepy and weird and gory for people who enjoy more regular fiction. I myself absolutely love this book. One of my friends in the buddy read said that it reminded her of the Netflix adaptation of The Haunting of Hill House, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. I recommend this, but like I said, go into it with an open mind. I gave this one 4 stars. Next up, we have Clown in a Cornfield by Adam Cesare, and this is my first book by Adam Cesare. I had never read any of his stuff before, but I am a huge fan of his YouTube channel. This is a YA novel, his first YA novel, and like I've said so many times on this channel, YA is a bit hit and miss for me, but when I read the synopsis of this, it sounded so intriguing that I just had to read it. In the book, we meet Quinn, who has just moved with her father, who is a doctor, to Kettle Springs, Missouri from Philadelphia. They've just experienced a huge family tragedy and they are looking to start a new life. As Quinn starts to get settled in Kettle Springs and make friends, she discovers that there is a huge divide between the young people and the adults in the city. Soon, the town mascot Friendo, who is a creepy-looking clown, looks like he's going on a killer rampage to teach the young kids a lesson or two. This is a YA book, but geez, there is some hefty gore and kills in this book. It reads like a teen slasher movie of the good old 80s kind, and I really enjoyed it. I've read some other books that set out to do the same thing that Clown in a Cornfield has done, but none of them really hit the mark for me. This one, though, was awesome. I gave it 4 stars. Another author that I've never read anything by before, but I've heard very good things about, is Darcy Coates, and The Haunting of Blackwood House was recommended on the Books in the Freezer podcast in their Ghosts Horror episode, so I picked this one up and gave it a go. This is a classic haunted house tale in which we meet Mara, who grew up the daughter of spiritualists, and she has now put that life behind her. She refuses to believe in anything supernatural. She just doesn't want anything to do with it. She gets the opportunity to buy a huge house for a bargain price, and so she takes no notice of the fact that murders took place in this house and there may be ghostly goings on as a result of it, because she doesn't believe in any of that stuff. Mara starts to renovate the house along with her boyfriend Neil, but soon, inevitably, things start going bump in the night. Will Mara, the non-believer that she is, be faced by any of it? Unfortunately, The Haunting of Blackwood House was a bit of a disappointment for me. Mara is an incredibly unlikable character, and I thought the other characters were not very believable, very poorly developed, and unfortunately, this was a 2-star read for me. I might give Darcy Coates a try in the future, but yeah, this one just was not for me. On audio, I listened to The Ghost Tree by Christina Henry, and yet again, this is an author that I have never really read anything by before except for a few short stories. The Ghost Tree is a coming-of-age horror novel from a female perspective, which is something I don't think I've ever encountered before. This book is not strictly YA, but with the young protagonist, I think it could definitely appeal to a younger audience. But do keep in mind that there is some fairly graphic gore and some fairly bad language in here. The Ghost Tree is set during the 1980s, and as such, it really reminded me of the new adaptation of It. We meet Lauren, whose dad was brutally murdered in the town woods a year prior. The tiny idyllic town of Smith's Hollow seemed to have all but forgotten the tragedy, but when 2 young girls who are not from the town are found brutally slayed, it becomes apparent that there are a lot of secrets under the surface in this town. I really enjoyed this book. As a matter of fact, I enjoyed it even more the more it progressed. I did find it maybe a little bit predictable, but the plot, the characters, and the whole atmosphere more than made up for that. The multiple points of view made me think of Imaginary Friend by Stephen Chbosky, which was one of my favorite books from last year. I highly recommend this book to fans of supernatural horror. It is definitely perfect for this time of year, but because of the summertime setting, it's also a book that you could read when it's nice and sunny and warm out. I gave this one 4 stars. Over to some books that I am currently reading. I am making my way through the Mammoth Book of Nightmare Stories edited by Stephen Jones, and this is really enjoyable. I tend to skip a little bit around in collections like this one. They tend to be a little bit of a mixed bag, but I am really enjoying this. Lots of great stuff in here, and I will come back with my thoughts when I've finished a book. I am also listening to The Hollow Places by T. Kingfisher, and I really enjoyed T. Kingfisher's book, The Twisted Ones, last year, and this one is just as good, if not even better. It is narrated by Hilary Huber, who also narrated The Twisted Ones, and I sincerely hope that she continues to read all of T. Kingfisher's novels because she is just perfect for the characters. I am really enjoying this one as well, and I will come back with my views once I've finished it. Okay, those are my recent and current Halloween-y reads. I would love to hear what you are reading for Halloween season. Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoy bookish videos like this one, horror movies, and unboxings, I hope you will stick around and subscribe for more. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time.